from the book More Time to Think by Nancy Kline. Listening is a conception. It is a creative force, and it is a paradox. It is creator, and it is creation. It is the sending of seed, and it is the soil. Most people have no idea how to generate attention like this. Most people think that listening is linear. They think that listening is lined up waiting to speak. They think that listening is their impatient not doing until they finally can do. Most people watch for the holes, the pause, the intake of breath, the looking off into the sky, the slightest flutter of being finished so that finally they can speak. Most people miss the creator. Most people miss the ignition that is inside the listening. This is because listening this profoundly can feel like just sitting there. It can feel like not being an expert. It can feel like not being a leader. It can feel like doing nothing. It can feel like a waste of time. But attention of this caliber is exactly the thing that saves time, that even generates time. This is because truly good, independent thinking emerges. It is not hammered or sculpted. It comes from. It stands ready, and when you are ready, it floats from some cool ground. A person's finest thinking lives inside those linings of minutes when you are not plodding or trying or prying loose. These moments of the person's mind reconnecting with its own power take your breath away, and you wonder how you could ever have wanted them to look to you for the answers. As you listen, you can touch and sometimes be filled to the top by the beauty in front of you. This happens because you are comfortable with the paradoxes. You understand that as the catalyst for this fine thinking, you are both essential and irrelevant. You matter profoundly because you do not matter at all. In both the conceptual and chemical sense, attention like this is a catalyst. Take that word out of common parlance for a moment and let it transport you. A catalyst in biochemistry is an amazing thing. It is a substance that increases the rate of a change without being consumed or changed itself. A catalyst also lowers the energy required for the change, allowing the change to proceed more quickly or at a lower temperature. This is what attention does. It brings about change in a person's thinking by firing up connections and leaps and divings. And like a catalyst, this attention is constant. It is not changed by what the thinker does. And so it is a steady resource for them. They can count on this attention to hold fast, to be intelligent, unconfused, compassionate, unconsumed, and unchanged by where their thinking is going. Attention in that way allows their thinking, their changing, to proceed more quickly and with less energy. Chemical catalysts can accelerate change up to a factor of 1020. I suspect attention's accelerating of change in human thinking is far faster. Attention of this quality recognizes that listening to reply is different from listening to ignite. Most people, including most professionals, listen to reply. Most people take in what they are hearing just long enough to come up with something to say in response. They listen to comment, to advise, to diagnose, to determine a clever intervention, to direct. They are within seconds out of step and out of date with the thinker. The thinker knows this, and their thinking slows down. They can sense the gradual and then accelerated revving to speak that people do as they listen. Listening to ignite is a focus on where the thinker will go next and on the wonder of that human mind in front of us. How do you generate such attention? In 2 words, get interested. Get interested in the fact that the person is thinking. Keep your eyes on their eyes. Breathe out and get interested. Decide that unless you have a seriously unsavory personal emergency, you will not interrupt them. In fact, if you could decide that today, from this point forward, you would never again interrupt people, your impact on them and the quality of your relationships would deepen immediately. Most of all, get interested not only in what the person is saying, but also, hugely, in what they will say next. When you are interested in, curious about, riveted by what they will say next, you do not want to interrupt them. The key feature for people of this quality of attention is knowing they won't be interrupted. Knowing they won't be, counting on it. That is what allows their mind to relax and paradoxically fire up. That is also what makes time to think take less time. Knowing that we won't be interrupted is a phenomenal force for the mind. Some days it seems to me that it is just about the closest thing to heaven we can experience without dying. Some people call it magic, but it is better than magic because it is not a trick. Consider for a moment how it might be if you and a handful of other people had been lucky enough to be invited to hear Mozart conduct and play a final draft of his 21st piano concerto. Let's say you were sitting there. He begins. You listen. The first movement is nearly over. Now what you don't do is stand up suddenly and say, "Hi, quick thought here. Don't you think there are just too many notes in this thing? And also, I wonder if you could end this differently. Actually, better than the way you were probably going to." You wouldn't do that. And it would not be because you were brought up properly and know how to behave on such an occasion. You would not interrupt because you are interested in how Mozart will finish the piece. You want to know what he will do next. You want his creation. That is why you came. I don't think that analogy is an exaggeration. I think that the human mind in front of us, as we listen, is itself a generator of genius. It is our job to be present in a particular way so that the genius can emerge, so that genius can emerge. And when we are more than an audience. We are a creative force for them. Again, that's from More Time to Think by Nancy Kline.